So ladies and gentlemen, today we're going to talk about Maui. As a guy that's also from an island that depends on tourism, I can understand the vibe. What just happened to that island, it's weird. And a bunch of videos that I'm going to show you today, it's weird. Just look at this and let's come to our own conclusion, which might be interesting.
And so I think where it shifted to today or over time is that we've become used to looking at water as like something which we use and not necessarily something that we revere as that thing that gives us life, right? I mean, to me, it's a shift in value set. And, you know, if we can start to really look at how we as humans in an island can reconnect to that traditional value set. So really my motto is always like, let water connect us and not divide us. Like we can share it, but it requires true conversations about equity.
So in other words, M. Kalea Manuel was responsible for water management during the Maui fires, waited 5 hours to release water to residents who were burned alive. So in other words, what he's saying right now, he is managing the water. He thinks it has a holistic feeling, but most people lost the tradition. And he wants to apply that tradition, especially when a bunch of people really need the water. I'm like, I find that rather weird. I thought we cared about life, because if life doesn't exist, the other won't even have the chance to drink the water, right?
1,300 people. 1,300 people vanished. That's what they're saying on the news in America. 1,300 people just up and vanished. How the fuck does that happen? I'll tell you how it happens. You block the escape routes. You force everybody to go to Front Street. That's all the cars you see there. And then you turn the power off. You shut the water off. And then you don't warn anyone. That's how it happens. They needed this whole place, everybody, all the people to die. That's what they wanted. So there would be no claims to the land that's left behind. That's America. Still colonizing its own people.
I'm not a conspiracy theorist, and I'm not even sure all he's saying is even true. There's a bunch of views, it's okay. I'm just a pattern recognition expert, I would say. I mean, the fact that so many cars were there that he suggested, it kind of proves a point, right?
Good luck. Look at this. Holy shit, this is a nightmare. I don't know where he's going, probably to block our street. They're gonna fucking barbecue all these people down in Lahaina. We're all trapped down in here. They're blocking off all exits, and everyone is just stuck, going in a circle in a fire pit.
The fact that they shut off the water, just like the previous guy had. It's kind of weird. I'm not sure if they turned the power off, but if so many people are missing, do you remember when they were talking about that many disasters when adoption agencies are growing to help the people? Many times kids and families disappear at those adoption agencies because nobody has nowhere, they don't know where to live, and if they're lost, maybe certain people can take advantage of that situation.
Spread the message to people on mainland about what's really going on here, because the media isn't doing us any good at all. We are not okay. We're not okay. We are emotionally damaged. A lot of people are physically injured. A lot of people have lost their family members. Only 25% of the burn zone has been searched, and there's already been 110 deaths. And it hasn't been the high impact burn zone. Like, there's over 1,300 people without a roof over their head right now, me included. I'm lucky enough to have friends, but all of us are They're putting us in 30-day like hotel stays in order to find everybody houses, but in a place where it's hard enough to find housing and hard enough to find jobs as it is, now that there's more people looking for jobs and there is less houses available on the island, I've talked to so many of my friends on mainland that quite literally have no idea that there is 1,300 people packed in shelters and living out of their cars and having to move onto the streets, and that aren't getting assistance and that aren't getting walked through these steps. They have no idea that the death count is so big. They have no idea that the majority of people that have perished are going to be the elderly and the children. They have no idea that our alarm system on this island is the biggest, it's the strongest in the entire nation. I think it might be the strongest in the whole world, but not a single fucking siren off. Why is this not bigger news? Like, our government f***ed us, didn't give us any warning. We had to flee our houses. We lost fucking everything. And nobody knows. 1,300 people are displaced right now and hundreds are dead. Why does nobody know? And I'm sorry, I wanted to add one more thing. It's that this isn't like a fast road. There's almost no recovering from this, especially not in a decade, maybe not in 2. Who's to say? But our biggest industry over here is tourism, and now that our biggest tourist city burnt down, we are going to lose so many jobs. So many people are going to continue to lose their houses. People are going to have to sell their land to sources that they shouldn't just because nobody's going to be able to afford anything. Like, this isn't a ball game. We're going to be working on this for decades, and we're going to need support for decades, and it's pretty obvious that no one is going to stick around and help. Nobody showed up in the first place, really. So, just spread the message.
So as a person that is born on an island, I know how important the tourism is. And she's right. They would not recover because the government brought your alarm failed.
Do you regret not sounding the sirens?
I do not. And the reason why, and
So many people said they could have been saved if they had time to escape. Had a siren gone off, they would have known that there was a crisis emerging. And as we know, so many bodies were found in the ground.
Do you want him to give you the answer, or
I
do you
do,
want to
but I
give?
wanna- I
Well,
wanna
then let
get
him
it out
finish.
there.
Let him finish his
I'm
answer.
sorry, there's a lot of people.
Well, you're
who
talking
want
and you're not letting him
answers.
talk. If you want to talk, come up here.
I'm ready for the answer.
Then wait.
the sirens, as I had mentioned earlier, is used primarily for tsunamis. And that's the reason why many of them are found, almost all of them are found on the coastline. The public is trained to seek higher ground in the event that the siren is sounded. In fact, on the website of the Hawaii Emergency Management Agency, the following guideline is provided. If you are in a low-lying area near the coastline, evacuate to high grounds, inland or vertically to the fourth floor and higher of a concrete building. Alerts may also come in the form of a wireless emergency alert. Had we sounded the siren that night, we're afraid that people would have gone Mauka. And if that was the case, then they would have gone into the fire. And so that is the reason why our protocol has been to use WEA and EAS. By the way, I should also note that there are no sirens Mauka, or on the mountainside, where the fire was spreading down. So even if we sounded the siren, it would not have saved those people on the mountainside, Mauka.
And now you know why the sirens did not sound. Let me know in the comment section what's your opinion about that. I also find it very interesting that guy in the red suit is like a little mafia, right? Look at this. Let me know what you think about this one too.
I don't know. I wish I
Yes,
knew
you
the answer.
do. How many children are missing? You
I
know.
wish I knew the answer to that. I would be happy to answer that.
You have no estimate as to how many
So,
children are missing?
I guess
Nothing?
we can end this right now if you guys want. Sorry,
This is one of the biggest questions that the people of Lahaina have, but you don't want to answer.
It always takes one or two to ruin it for everybody.
Please, this
That's
is
what
our first
happens.
this is our only
Well, we
opportunity.
could say that about you. You ruined it for everyone.
You're welcome to say it. You're the media. You can say whatever you want.
You're a disaster.
All right. Okay.
Please.
Sorry.
You're trying
You've
to
been the
help me,
worst
please.
mayor we could
Trying to
possibly
listen to-
imagine.
You know, you won't even wait. for
Respect.
your turn.
Respect what? This is the most dismal response we've
Please.
ever had.
You won't wait for your turn. You want to shout over these guys that are legitimate.
Why don't you give them the
are
real
legitimate
answers
media,
then?
so.
Give them the real answers.
That's not his question.
Let him.
Yeah. You can go. You can go. Yeah.
Darn.
Yeah.
Oh,
Sorry.
I know you're getting a bunch of questions, but even if they are being a little abrasive with a bunch of questions and you're like, oh, but hey man, you look how you talk to me, respect. And I'm like, bruh, my child might be a barbecue, blacker than me. What are you talking about as if I need to calm down? It makes no sense. And then you go to a meeting and this happened.
We need to get our people back home.
I just came from a meeting run by the governor. All these developers were talking about forget the permit process. We're going to build homes, not in Lahaina, and make these homes available. You know what the truth of that is? They were like fast track their development. And they're not fucking helping the people over here. There was not one conversation in this meeting about the people. Every conversation that was had, every developer that came up there and talked about what they could offer was about getting rid of the permits so that they can steal water from our streams, they can fucking fast track westernization development and forget about the culture and place. That's gonna be our hardest journey in this long road to recovery.
Bro, do you know how crazy I would be if I'm going to a meeting to talk how we can save people, my family, bada bing, bada boom, and you're talking about I'm going to build a house for you so you can live in. No! I want to know how I'm going to recover to the previous way, not the new way. And guess what? For the new way, well, the holistic water, we need to share it because everybody needs it, especially when there is no fire.
Okay, I gotta tell you guys, I am so frustrated with investors and realtors calling the families who lost their home, offering to buy their land. How dare you do that to our community right now? If you are a victim and they are calling you, please get their name, get their business name, so we can put them on blast. This is some pilau, heva shit happening right now.
All I know is this. Some people naturally share their equity that they learned on the island, and that got burned away. And these people that are coming in, they don't know equity. They can tell you what is equity as long as they stay at the top. What's even more weird, look at these $1 million houses. They're good, they're chill. What, are you telling me they had like this spray to make the grass wet and that saved their houses? Really? And you can just go Google which houses got survive of these $1 million people. I'm not here to mention name so you can send hate. You can find it yourself.
Leaving trees standing. Leaving restaurant umbrellas and trees untouched.
So this is what we're gonna go after. These umbrellas right here. Got all the devastation right next to it, but we got these umbrellas and these trees. The trees we could justify. We can say, you know, they're tall. People can make up all these excuses in their mind on how these two fit the equation. What you can't make an excuse for is the umbrellas. So are those really umbrellas? I mean, they look like umbrellas. So I found a video of someone flying a drone over there. Check it out.
So this is the fires in Maui, Hawaii. I don't know of any fires that do this naturally. And they keep on in the press conference saying, oh, this is the worst natural.
Most of the military are not really aware about what is going on because nobody is giving them the information. Everything is kept between the main people in charge. So if you want to get close to the headquarters of the NPD police headquarters, you need to be on a special list. If you want to go inside of the town, you need a special authorization for you to go in. And if you want to fly a drone, you need to have a special code authorization to do it. So it's really hard to report here because it seems that every information is kept far away from the public. So what I learned so far from military officer, it's like he told me that by rumor that he heard from other people who work closely, it seems that most of the area have been searched so far. They don't know how much people die so far. They don't know the death toll, but they expect to be way, way more than what we heard so far from mainstream media.
You have community watch setups where individuals are trying to keep external organizations out of their neighborhood.
Of course, people are going to start thinking like that. They don't want to attract the back attention, but they don't want anybody new coming in to enjoy something that they're trying to fix.
We have lost everything. So the fact that they're already thinking that they probably can't afford to rebuild. You know, a lot of people's life savings are in the house. Everything to do with the state has been bad. Everything to do with the community has been awesome. We're focusing on what's most important. That is making sure our community members are well taken care of. That is what's most important. The state, their focus is all over the place, and they expect us to trust them. I do not.
Equity.
99% of the community members that I've spoken to, they don't. Now we have to focus and make sure that the vultures don't come in and take from us. There have been people skeptical about it, telling me, oh, it's just nobody's trying to come and take your land and blah, blah, blah. No, they are here. Not one state representative, not one state official has come out to check on us.
$40 billion go to Ukraine. Thing coming to us, but nobody's still here for take care of us. We're suffering. All this shit we gotta do on our own.
Right now, the Maui community is helping the Maui community. It's really affected me because where's the president? Aren't we Americans too? Like, why are we being ignored?
For some of us, we were kind of sitting back waiting for help to arrive, and then nothing was sort of happening. We were just in shock. When I started getting texts and messages from friends on the other side saying, hey, no one is here. Do you know anyone you can call? Can you help us? And it started off with really being boots on the ground. Okay, let's get the jet skis. Let's get the boats.
These are people from USA going on jet ski all the way to Hawaii to help the people because their own government ain't helping them.
Scary. People were scrambling for their lives.
The firefighters all might be trapped.
Because there was about 30, 40 of us out there floating in the water in the dark, just not knowing where to go. The dad gave me the 2-year-old, and from that time that he gave it to me, I had that son in my arms that clung onto my neck for about 2 hours, 2 to 3 hours in the water. The mom didn't want to come in. The husband grabbed her, and that plywood saved our lives. We hung on to it, and we floated around with about 6 or 8 of us around the plywood, just hanging onto the edges. I had the 2-year-old just clinging onto my neck. As we were in the water, we heard people screaming. It was like bombs going off. It's like someone just dropped a bomb, or a fire goddess was just out there just going boom, 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 and fires just pop up everywhere.
Help those families, and we have to help Lahaina. And we have to help those families, and we have to help Lahaina rebuild. And the good news is that the Hawaii Red Cross and Malama Maui are mobilizing to provide direct support to people who are desperately in need. I'm asking you to do everything you can to generously support the Malama Maui effort.
Have the people go to the press. Yesterday, they were told they could go to the FEMA tent to get food and water. When they went to the air-conditioned enclosed tent with, did I say air-conditioned inside? Just to get food and water, the morgue operations, Hui, that's down there, which includes retired firemen who came out of retirement to come and help because they have the proper certifications to do that job, were turned away because it is a separate funding. So this is where you guys and me come in to take care of our own people, because these entities of Red Cross and FEMA, they're coming to help themselves do the job that they're here for. They're not here to help us do the job that we are trying to do for us.
So I can just keep on going collecting, but I think the message is sent and I don't want to make the video too long. But it just shows you that people are uniting the real equity when you actually want to help everybody equally, no matter what the heck is happening. And we don't need somebody at the top telling the people how to do that, because usually when they talk about equity, they're usually talking about the one that's going to give them more money.
Hawaii trip, sir?
No, not now. I'm going to be leaving. I'll be there on Monday.
So why aren't you taking care of what you claim to be in charge of, rather than sending out all these funds and whatever else you guys are sending to Ukraine or anywhere?
It is our lowest income communities and our communities of color that are most impacted by these extreme conditions and impacted by issues that are not of their own making. And so absolutely. And so we have to address this in a way that is about giving resources based on equity, understanding that we fight for equality, but we also need to fight for equity, understanding not everyone starts out at the same place. And if we want people to be in an equal place, sometimes we have to take into account those disparities.
So very simple, ladies and gentlemen. You use the black people to justify you can't give money to anybody else but the black people, but you will send it to the white people overseas. Gotcha. I don't know. There's so many here back and forth thing that I'm like, bruh, let me just do my own thing the shitty way. Because I can't trust you, because you're going to do something shitty too. But just not for us. So anyway, let me know what you guys think about this whole situation. I just feel very sad. I feel very sad for the people of Hawaii. As if they don't have enough of their own issues. And this just feels weird. How the things are burned, it's like ping, pam, pam, pam. And that's why people think it's a laser. I don't know. Is it possible? Who knows? I don't know.